first piece that we're going to talk about today is the JusticeCon and the big things that we learned about what was some little teases of what's going on with the Zack Snyder cut. And he did show us just a 17-second clip that expanded on a little single shot that was in the trailers that we saw. And we did get to see black suit Superman in these trailers. It's just a tease. He's smiley Superman. He's not brooding Superman. And throughout the course of the interview that Zack Snyder gave, he talked about what footage he will be using, confirmed kind of the length of the runtime, that it's actually longer than we even thought it was. So before we dive into the specifics of all of that, what do you guys, Austin, what do you think about black suit Superman? Just even getting that little tease.
Yeah, it's cool. It really is. It's something I never expected to see from this universe after we got Justice League, because I said, well, that's done. We're never going to see it. But it's nice to know that Zack Snyder is finally getting his version out there. Now, whether it is that comic accurate version that everyone, I think, wants to see, we'll have to find out. But hey, according to the visuals, he's wearing the black suit. That's comic book accurate enough as of now. And I think he looks pretty cool. And it's nice to see that smile. So we'll have to see how that plays out in the movie as well.
That's the thing that I really liked, is that we get the clip that gives you the black suit, but the fear was black suit Superman. He's brooding. He's the villain. He was really the main antagonist. And I'm sure there might be some of that in here, but that he feels kind of like what we saw at the end of Justice League, of a little bit more comic book accurate, the smiley Superman, while at the same time being in that black suit. I appreciate that we had a little bit of both of those in there. Griffin, what did you think about the little tease of black suit Superman?
It was awesome. It was cool to see that. I think of all the things he could have revealed at JusticeCon for these fans who have been championing the film, supporting it, trying to get his vision realized. It's like a great first tease for them, because look, you drop this clip, and I even think he said it on the stream, but it's like you drop this clip at to the masses and what not at an event geared towards just like people other than Snyder Cut fans, and everyone's like, oh yeah, that's cool, that it's sure, he's in a black suit, that doesn't really get me excited, but whatever. But if you drop it at an event that is geared towards these hardcore Snyder Cut fans who they wanted to see this. They wanted to see Henry Cavill without a CGI'd mustache. They wanted to see Superman meet Alfred and all that stuff like that. That's enough to get to get a lot of those fans excited.
Exactly. And I think that's kind of the thing that makes this clip so perfect. It kind of touches on a couple of different things. One of them is black suit Superman, which I saw some conversation on Twitter, what's the big deal about black suit Superman? Cool, he's in a different color suit, who cares? Or I don't like the aesthetic of it. Okay, I got you. Okay, but it's for people that understand the death of Superman, the reign of the Superman storylines, that it's this, what the suit is, it's this restoration suit, and that they're paying attention to that. It just has these deep comic book ties that obviously comic book movie fans really appreciate. It's something that if you're going to do the death and resurrection of Superman and you don't have black suit, it's weird. And that's why it was weird that we didn't get it before. So seeing it says okay, this is more of that epic that has more ties back to the source material. So that's one part of what makes it really cool. But then the other one is that we saw that tease in one of the teases that they put in the trailer that was supposed to hook you and make you really excited, is that there's this moment where Alfred's sitting there and then you see they do the Jurassic Park wiggling cup effect, and then it doesn't show you what happened there, and you're supposed to go, oh, Superman shows up to meet Alfred. They put that at the end of the trailer as a tease of something that would happen, and then it's not in the movie. And so it's one of these shots that makes you go, oh, okay, I see kind of what we're doing here. And in the interview with him, I don't know if this is the way that Zack Snyder always talks. He could be a little bit scattershot in how he addressed some things. And you could tell he was speaking to the Release the Snyder Cut fans. And so he was trying to say stuff without fully burning bridges. But he said some stuff when they were working on it, they would take some of my footage and they would put it in there without asking for my permission. But he wouldn't give the full context of that, but it felt a lot like, I think he was referring to the trailer because he was teasing this clip. And so like they put in clips that it seems like they didn't even intend to put in the movie into the trailers because they knew it would get people excited, which once again just goes back to the frustrations of everything that they were doing during that point in time. Just had a super chat come in here, and this will tie into the conversation about
I've seen this one
about the interview.
Yeah.
So it says, Aish asks, I'm sorry if I mispronounced your name. Hey, Sean, do you think there will be a Green Lantern cameo? And if there is, who do you think should play Hal Jordan? I think Armie Hammer is a good choice. So the reason that this is a great connection to what was going on, Zack Snyder was asked about this during the panel. They said, hey, can you tell us anything about Green Lantern? And during all of this, he answered questions about what footage he would use, about the runtime. He threw WB executives under the bus. And then they went, hey, can you tell us about the Green Lantern cameo or any plans for Green Lantern in this? Zipped his lips. He didn't say anything.
I'm seeing about 700 comments about Green Lantern. You can say anything.
Say about that? Because you did put him on the shirt on the merch.
You did do that, didn't I?
So I would take that to mean that we're probably going to get something interesting. Who should play him? I wouldn't anticipate any sort of A-lister. I wouldn't anticipate like Hal Jordan shows up and it's Ryan Reynolds. I'm not expecting it to be Armie Hammer. I'm expecting footage of the Green Lantern Corps is what I would think. That would be my guess. But he was asked about this during the panel. Zip. Didn't say anything. Griffin, did you have something to expand on this one?
Yeah, no, this is definitely a rumor that I think I've seen floating around for a little bit. And I think part of it is true. I agree with you. I believe that we will see like the Green Lantern Corps in some capacity. I mean, we already saw other lanterns in that flashback where like Wonder Woman is telling the story of like Steppenwolf and stuff like that. So I wouldn't be surprised if we saw other lanterns and maybe there's like a tease of Hal Jordan, but I don't think you're going to actually see Hal Jordan team up with the Justice League in this movie. Green Lantern, all that stuff. There's no way. And then there's like the rumors that like, oh, Ryan Reynolds Green Lantern is coming back. Yeah. That's absurd. That is not happening. Why would they bring back the person or the portrayal of Green Lantern that has been made fun of ad nauseum on the internet and in movies, in the Deadpool movies? Like, why would they do that? The movie was a colossal disappointment. It was a colossal flop. I don't even think maybe Ryan Reynolds would come back if it was like a joke thing, but I tonally, that doesn't even make sense for a Zack Snyder film. So just don't even consider that. That's never going to happen.
Griffin,
and don't. Oh, so yeah. Wait, what?
Griffin, so you're a big fan of GoldenEye and Casino Royale. Yeah. It's been deeply disappointing when he was hired to direct a Green Lantern movie, and then it turns out to be what it was.
It wasn't. It was bad.
Martin, he's such a great director, and then it's like the comic book movie gives us is so disappointing. But I think that's the thing, is that the movie is it's the butt end of a lot of jokes, even for Ryan Reynolds. Even Ryan Reynolds in the movie makes himself the butt end of the joke. There's no
never do that. Yeah.
For them to be like, hey, let's loop that into our shared or into our universe directly. Let's make that now ushered in as a Comic-Con DCEU movie. It wouldn't make any sense. Austin, what do you think on Green Lantern? Have you heard about this?
Well, Reynolds' Green Lantern is a meme. I mean, just the other day he was tweeting with Hugh Jackman, and Jackman said, "You're looking a little green, Ryan." And I'm just like, I mean, at this point, if he were to come back, I don't think people would take the movie seriously after that, because everyone would just say, "Hey, it's Deadpool back as the thing he's been making fun of for how many years now?" So I don't see that happening. If you're asking a dream casting, I'd love to see Idris Elba as Jon Stewart, but I don't think that's going to happen either. I'm with you, Sean. I think it's going to be a smaller actor, maybe even a no-name actor kind of taking over the mantle for this movie. And either way, I'm excited because Green Lantern is a really good character. Just the movie wasn't.
Yeah, and like the off chance is they use this edition of Hal Jordan, whatever, Jon Stewart, as a tease for a movie that they actually greenlight. Mm-hmm. There's always the chance of something like that, but that's not like, you don't bank on that. You're not like, oh, they'll bring Ryan Reynolds, or I think they're gonna. You don't bank on that. There's like always the off chance that they do something really cool, that we're in this alternate scenario where we get a second version of the movie, and therefore, based off where they are at now in developing other things, you can do something you wouldn't do it before. But odds that are happening really low. Had another super chat come in that tackles a bunch of other stuff that came out of this JusticeCon. So Tom Guevier, very sorry if I mispronounced your name. Your thoughts on Snyder saying he'd burn Justice League if his if it's not his footage, and Ray willing to be sued over Joss Whedon. So essentially, if you don't know what he's referring to, there's kind of two different subjects there. First one is, during this interview, he was asked, would he use any of Joss Whedon's footage? And he is quoted as saying, I would set the movie on fire before he would use a single frame that he didn't shoot. Like, he said that, like, overt, I will not use any footage that I did not film.
And some of them are claiming that you're going to use some of Whedon's scenes.
There would be no chance on earth that I would destroy the movie. I would set it on fire before I would use a single frame that I did not photograph.
Which, throughout the rest of the interview, he also referred to what they released as a Frankenstein monster. When he was talking about the black suit situation, he said, yeah, they didn't want to do the black suit. Like, executives said that they thought it wouldn't match the tone that they wanted, and they really wanted it to make it like this big, funny, jokey movie. Which I'm like, we're talking about a dead Superman in the world in despair, and you want to make it a really funny, jokey movie. Like, we had two different visions. So he made a bunch of these statements that were just bold, like, wow, like, he is talking about WB in ways that I'm pretty shocked that he's allowed to do. What do you make of that, Austin?
Well, what this tells me is my worry at the beginning was that this was going to be the same movie, but longer, right? What this tells me is, even though obviously a lot of what he shot was in the original film, there's also a lot that we never saw, and maybe we saw in that first trailer. So this tells me that we may actually be getting a different movie with different events. And Cyborg, somewhat the lead of the original, but Cyborg really being the focus. And he said that later on. He's like, listen, I don't want to show Ray, because if I show Ray, he is the guy, right? He's the one I have to impress, because this is essentially his film. And I don't know if that was as evident to me in Joss Whedon's version. So this tells me that he does have his own movie, and maybe, we don't know, but maybe it could be significantly better than the other if it is that different. So that kind of gets me excited.
Yeah. I was just gonna say, well, in terms of like what Zach said, I mean, I don't think there's anything wrong with it personally, because I mean, what you've also taken into account the way Zack Snyder speaks. He's very hyperbolic. He's very blunt about it, and obviously he's going to say stuff that plays into the fan base of JusticeCon, and they're all thinking this, and so he's just like, well, all right, I'll throw it out there. Like, look, it's not his movie, and I don't know why he would use any previously shot footage that wasn't his. Like, the whole notion of this is that he's putting together his version of this film. There are going to be reshoots. I do have information on that. There are going to be reshoots. Hopefully they'll get the cast back together. I know that Ben Affleck there is supposedly just coming in to do work for that, and so I can assume the rest of the team will, not just ADR but reshoots as well. And if you look at pictures of him recently, he's getting back into shape. He's got more gray in his beard. And so it like kind of makes sense. So, so I think, so of course, like why? Yeah.
In the interview on JusticeCon, that was another thing where he seemed to quiet up a little bit. Like, hey, are they going to be reshoots? I can't comment on that.
Yeah. Yeah.
And like, he just threw executives under the bus. Well, I can't comment on that.
Yeah.
Every time he did that, I went, that's a yes. There's something to this.
Yeah. Oh, go ahead.
But I mean, it's one of those ones that, like, if you ask him something ridiculous that's not going to happen, it's easy to say no. So if you're just not supposed to confirm something, that's where you're like, I can't comment on that.
Yeah.
But you comment on everything else.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, he's dropping stuff left and right on Vero. So it's like, if it's, I feel like you're right. Whenever Zack Snyder like quiets up and he's like, well, I can't really talk about that until like, I don't know, DC Fandom or something like that. It's most likely going to happen. And I think when we get to Fandom, they'll drop the trailer. They'll bring
They
the
said
cast. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, he did say they would drop the trailer, but they'll bring the cast back out maybe, or have them online or whatever. And it'll be this big thing. So people like, you know, who have been saying, oh, Batfleck's going to return. He is, but for reshoots on this film, we don't know, you know, past that if he's going to come back.
So, and to kind of tie all this together before we kind of move on to our next subject of the day, to take one more thing that he said in there. He said that two more things. He said at Fandom we'll know if it's a movie or if it's like a 6-episode miniseries. Mm-hmm. He said he doesn't know yet. He doesn't really care. He's kind of interested in both, but he will announce it at Fandom when there will be a tease. He did say that. Other final thing in here, he'd already said this to Grace Randolph, but he confirmed the current runtime is over 214 minutes. That he confirmed that. But put these two pieces of information together. Put them together. No Whedon footage. That movie's only 2 hours, and you cut out all the Whedon footage. You can watch it and be like, that was Whedon, that was Whedon, that was Whedon. You cut all of that out. So then even at that point in time, they say it's 45 minutes of Whedon footage in there. So that's an hour and 15 minutes, hour and 14 minutes. You've got at least like 2 more hours of Zack Snyder Justice League based off these comments that all sound real, all sound legit, and they're doing more footage. So, I mean, that's a dramatically different movie. Just at face value, if he used Joss Whedon footage and just added to it, you're already getting over an hour, like an hour more footage, like a lot more footage. But we're already cutting back then also all the Whedon footage. So this is going to be a wildly different beast with a different tone. And I love the fact that something like this exists. I always love these types of things when they happen. When you have two different directors, different visions, different kind of executives telling them what to do, and you get to see the same synopsis told 2 very different ways. That's cool to me.